This edition of In the Know is all about the return of February air and Mother Nature trying to figure out how she can pack more winter into regions who, in my opinion, have already seen maybe a little bit too much. It's an overdose in Atlantic Canada, and we are going to talk about the nor'easter that continues to come in this week. That'll be a big headline. But first, Rhythm, let's go over some of the different air masses that we're seeing across the west and how that's going to drop temperatures this week.
Well, we're finally going to go back to some more seasonal conditions across Canada. The trough that we have building in the west is further towards the west, impacting Alaska more than it is usually impacting BC and Alberta. This is allowing that trough to sink towards the east and allowing more cooler air to descend right across the prairies as well.
So when we see that cool pool of air, that blue blob there moving across the prairies, let's put it into perspective. What do some of those numbers look and feel like?
Well, in the middle of the week, we are going to be looking at more seasonal conditions right across the country. Temperatures even slightly below seasonal in some places like Ottawa and Calgary, but nonetheless, the return of February is back.
Yeah, a dose of reality for many Canadians. And you know, I think a lot of people, well, they want the winter to return, but for folks in Atlantic Canada, I don't know how much more winter you can actually take on. The snowbanks are towering way above our heads, Rhythm, and now a nor'easter is on the way.
A nor'easter is on the way, and that means more snow headed their way. What it's going to be is this system, a low pressure system right off the Appalachians. It's going to gain a lot of momentum and energy very quickly over the Atlantic Ocean. And as it heads towards regions of Atlantic Canada, it's going to bring plenty of snowfall, but also very heavy snowfall as well as winds.
Yeah, now we know folks in Atlantic Canada, they are accustomed to nor'easters. They know this can bring big impact weather. Let's talk a little bit about why this storm is taking this specific route.
Well, with this system, like we talked about the trough that's going to be descending towards the east, this system, this low pressure is going to get sucked into that trough, and that's why we see that curvature right over Newfoundland and further into Newfoundland, bringing almost wraparound snow as we head towards the middle of the week for areas into Cape Breton as well.
Now, we know that this system is actually going to have a bit of a similar setup compared to what we saw last week, where Nova Scotia is much more likely to see huge snowfall totals compared to what we'll get in New Brunswick. Newfoundland, this looks like it's almost a guarantee for big snow. So let's talk about the track that we're expecting at this point.
At this point, we still have two little tracks. Most of them, both of them, and all of them actually, are looking to impact directly into Nova Scotia. But the question's going to arise for Nova Scotia is how much snow do we get further west? Now, the track that's the Atlantic Canada track, that one's slightly further north. That is going to mean some more snow for New Brunswick and heavier snow along areas inland of Nova Scotia comparatively to the second track that is still a little bit off course or towards the Atlantic Ocean, but still going to be clipping Nova Scotia nonetheless.
For sure, and you know, that could be big snowfall differences too if that storm tracks a little further north, Summerside PEI compared to Charlottetown PEI. So that'll be an interesting forecast to watch. But Rhythm, if you can paint the picture on snowfall totals at this point, what are we putting down?
Well, this time around, down towards the southern end of Nova Scotia, you will be seeing more snow. Anywhere between 15 to 20 centimeters of snow is expected for you. However, up towards Newfoundland, so Gander, St. John's, you're going to be looking at an additional upwards of 30 centimeters of snow by the time this system is completed.
And Rhythm, just quickly, the wind will be very strong as the system approaches Tuesday.
Absolutely. The winds can get all the way up to 80 kilometers an hour through the Maritimes as well as up towards Newfoundland, posing the risk for some blowing wind, snow, as well as low visibility.
All right, another system to watch for Atlantic Canada.